Good morning, everybody. This is Christy Villanueva with the West San Antonio Chamber, and you are joining us for another session of the West Chamber Pop-Up. So here we are, and I am joined today by Doug Melnick, the Director of the Office of Sustainability for City of San Antonio. Thank you, Doug, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a spring day.
It's a little chilly, but it could be worse, I guess.
Yes, it could be colder.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that case, I'd be standing here in my camo gear, but that's okay. So because this is a very short 15-minute segment, we want to get right to the nuts and bolts of things. The Climate Action Adaptation Plan.
Yep.
So we've been working on that for quite a while, you even longer than that. And tell me when the conversations actually started, let's say minus the steering committee.
Yeah, so basically at this point, it's been a couple years ago, Mayor Nirenberg and City Council passed a resolution in support of the Paris Climate Agreement, and that really gave us the policy direction to start developing this plan. So it's been a 2-year conversation. The draft plan is out now. Tremendous amount of public interest. It's definitely on everybody's radar. We have adjusted the timeline where we originally were planning on council considering it in May of this year, but now we're pushing it back to the fall. So there'll be plenty of time for businesses, residents, institutions to continue having conversations with us.
Wonderful. And the city has been having a ton of open session meetings that are free and open to the public to come and get information.
Yep. We are, the best place for people to get information is to go to saclimateready.org. You can find out about meetings that are coming up. You could submit comments directly. If you want us to come out to talk to your neighborhood association, homeowners association, church, temple, business, just let us know and we'll send somebody out and talk to them.
Wonderful. And the West Chamber has also taken initiative to add on public meetings that are open and free to the public. And as a matter of fact, we're hosting one on April 6th, so we'll tell you more about that in a little bit. But it's important that each of the businesses is informed, because not only as business owners, as residents, this is our future. And we're in this beautiful Confluence Park. This is one of many parks that offers different amenities that are open to the public. You can bring your children here, your family, and enjoy nature, but we cannot do this unless we keep our city clean. And that's a very simplistic attitude to take, just keeping your city clean, but it's very necessary. So, Doug, tell us a little bit about, the plan is 87 pages or so long.
About 85 pages.
Okay.
It's jam-packed with information, which I think is one of the challenges. The plan is really focused on we as a community, as a city council, have said climate change is occurring, and there's a role for us to play, and it takes a look at what those impacts are in the future. And I think we just want to make sure that this community is prepared and continues to thrive, and all those things that make San Antonio are here for future generations. And so the plan is really about looking at how our world's changing. There's market transitions going on daily. We keep seeing manufacturers of vehicles saying, we're going to ramp up on electric vehicles. The plan doesn't say we're going to make anybody drive an electric vehicle, but it says if that's the way things are going, let's make sure that we have the right infrastructure out there. So I've been sort of thinking about it a lot in terms of future-proofing San Antonio. What is on the horizon, and how do we make sure that our community is prepared? So there's good jobs, there's a healthy environment, there's that quality of life that we want, regardless of what's thrown at us.
Absolutely. Now, there's a lot of items that are listed in the plan. There's mitigation items, there's adaptation items. Can you tell us the difference?
Sure. So there's two components to addressing climate. One is we need to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. That's what's really contributing to climate change. And that comes from anytime we turn on the lights, anytime we drive around, anytime we're burning a fossil fuel. So it has a series of very high-level strategies focused on how do we reduce those emissions. And it's basically being more efficient with how we're driving, being more efficient with how we're using energy in our buildings, in our businesses, cleaning up our energy supply. On the adaptation side, that's basically how do we prepare for what we're experiencing now and in the future. So if we say that it's going to be considerably hotter in the future. Are our cooling stations for our community in the proper locations? Are they serving the community properly? Do we really need to increase the number of parks where people can get away from the heat?
Yes.
So it's just a lot of that is around just being prepared for that changing landscape.
And I think that's where some of our business owners might be getting a little confused. Now, for our members at the West Chamber, we have several construction companies, we have landscaping companies. We've been talking to them about, so how are you going to prepare for your employees as they have to get all this work done?
Exactly.
They have to earn money. You have to earn money as a business. These are items that are going to help you kind of preserve that business as you move forward. So,
well, I think one of the things that's interesting is a lot of this is about terminology. Businesses, for the most part, I would definitely the larger businesses and corporations have emergency contingency plans.
Yes.
They have weather-related plans if something happens. This is simply saying, here's what's potentially coming down in the future. Let's think about that.
Yes.
So a lot of these things, and businesses are already working on being more efficient with how they're using fuel and energy. So one of the big messages that we're trying to put out there is we're already doing this. We're doing it's simply saying, let's sort of put this all under one umbrella. Let's have a conversation around climate, which we haven't usually done, but we're not starting from scratch. A lot of this is about the business case for doing it. It makes sense.
Yes. And many of our associations have already talked about, these are the things that we have in place. Toyota has its own internal plan. Valero has its own internal plan. And they are constantly making improvements to it. Our small businesses now need to get on board and work on that.
And I think that's where the role of the chambers, the city, and other organizations really need to come into play. It's one thing when we talk about large corporations, but small businesses who are just trying to open the doors in the morning and undertake their delivering their services, they're going to need our help, to basically walk through that process, make sure that they are taking advantage of the opportunities and are prepared, and they can't do it alone.
Absolutely. And we've talked about doing it one step at a time. They're just baby steps at first, things that you can do in the office. SA Works is, or Reworks, I'm sorry, is a great place to start, and then continue to move forward through this climate action adaptation plan, and then being aware of all the things that we're responsible for. Because in many of our meetings we've talked about, we used to recycle as kids. We used to get up in the morning on a weekend and go collect our cans with our relatives and go recycle. But everything is so convenient, we don't do it anymore. And that is becoming a problem. We're starting to see more and more waste along our riverbanks and out in our parks, just in our office. There's not a whole lot we can do as an office, as a West Chamber office, but we're bringing our cups to work every day, and we're asking businesses respectfully, please honor us and allow us to bring in our cups, and then we recycle. So these things cannot continue without having some programs in place.
And I think a lot of it is providing the support. I think it's education. It's highlighting our successes. Like I said, we're not starting from scratch. And I think the Reworks SA program, for those that don't know, is basically a voluntary recognition program that our solid waste department has rolled out, and it basically recognizes those local businesses that are saying, yes, we believe in reducing our waste. We believe in being efficient, and the city of San Antonio and the solid waste department being able to say, yes, look, these are the businesses that are doing it, and hoping to encourage people to recognize and support those businesses. So I think there's no reason why we can't use that model for all of our sustainability initiatives and climate initiatives. There's businesses that are leading on making their buildings efficient, so they're using renewable energy. That should be low-hanging fruit for us to
Absolutely.
highlight.
We have a lot of small business owners that are now installing solar panels, and they're looking at their water consumption in these older revitalized buildings. But I think one of the fear that we keep hearing with some of those business owners, either first tier or second tier business owners, is, oh my gosh, the city is going to tax the heck out of me, and they're going to force me to do all these things.
and that's not the intent. I think the city has and I've only been here for 5 years, but my experience with in the 5 years is there is a real interest in being methodical and pragmatic. There's other cities nationally that have been working on this longer that, they're going into territory. California,
yes.
We're going to make every new building have a solar panel on it, and I've heard there's a lot of pushback there.
Yes,
that's not on our radar. I think
right.
this is about, like I said, making the business case. And I've been telling people I have the same challenge just within our own city organization.
Right.
We want to electrify our city fleet. Unless I can make that business case, unless I can prove to those departments that need to use those vehicles that it's going to meet their need, to do their job, and then to prove to council that it's the right cost-effective decision,
right,
we're not going to do it either. So I think that's the process going forward, is for every strategy before we move forward is have all our stakeholders around the table, talk about, okay, well, how do we want to do this? There's many different ways that we can move these strategies forward, and then understand what the costs and the benefits are.
Absolutely.
And go into this eyes wide open, and not just simply say, we're going to do this because we have to. We need to take a step back and figure out what it actually means.
Absolutely. And everybody can take a role. That's, again, also what we've been telling our members is, while, certain things may not fit you today, there are other things that you can start doing in that path forward. The larger businesses are doing one thing, the smaller businesses can do another, and then together as a group, we can be more effective. Now, another big question, I've participated in meetings with other chambers where we've brought in dual memberships, and so another big statement that they're making is, well, other cities have attempted to implement something like this, and it's only cost them money.
Yeah, and so that's always a tough question, to address. One of the things that we've been doing, started looking at, is Brookings recently came out with a report just about 2 weeks ago, looking at 10-year growth for various regions across the country.
Right.
And I reached out to them. They sent all the data. Just starting to plug in which cities have climate plans, and the reality is there's a lot of cities that have similar plans, and just some preliminary analysis. It doesn't really show that. It shows that, and it's not at the city level. It's sort of the MSA level, but it shows that cities with these plans have continued to see job growth. They've continued to see their GDP grow, and then when you start sorting it out with those cities that haven't had plans, they've had lower job growth. Now, I'm sure it's much more complicated than that. But at this point, we don't see that correlation, that a plan like this having a negative economic impact.
Okay.
But I think those are the conversations that we need to keep having, to make sure that as those questions come up, can we provide those answers? And so I think at the end of the day, it's a long-term goal. The goal is our community's health, well-being.
Yes.
And there's so many things in that plan that have all these other benefits that we should be doing them anyway. When we talk about air quality and non-attainments, we know that has a real economic impact. Many of the strategies in this plan can help improving our air quality and reducing our ozone levels, which can help us get into attainment sooner. So I think we just have to be really thoughtful and pragmatic about what this plan is and how we roll it out.
Yes. So, realistically, at this point, folks, you understand that you have to get involved. We have so many people moving into San Antonio on a daily basis that we have to have plans in place to prepare for all this. There's more people, which means more waste, which means more things going on. And all we're asking is for you to contribute your thoughts, your feelings, your position on this. Don't just completely shut down and say, no, I don't want to do this. At least listen. Many folks have come from places with their own climate plan. So we need to know what's working and what's not.
And even if you don't like it, let us know.
Absolutely.
The more detail that you can provide, page 5, we don't like this, the better, but just taking some time to read what you can, make yourself educated, and if you have the the interest, let us know what your thoughts are.
Absolutely. Don't just judge the plan without reading it. Make sure that you actually look at the document and then make comments on it. Let's have some informed input. That's what we're looking for all the time. Thank you so much, Doug, for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate your time.
We'll be in touch.
Yes, absolutely, in this beautiful place. And we'll talk more about that. So, thank you for joining us, and we appreciate your time. Let us know that your thoughts on this segment and other segments that we've had in the past. We have several videos that have been uploaded to Facebook. And if you want to know more about sustainability and the Climate Action Adaptation Plan, we hope that you'll join us on April 6th, which is this coming Saturday at City Church off of Bandera. There will be more information below, so you can RSVP. We are inviting everyone from the community to come and join us. We encourage you to bring your high schoolers so they can also participate in the conversation. The kids of our community, their voice counts in this, so we want to hear from them too. The special thing about this event on Saturday is that you will be hearing from 3 different panelists. We have one gentleman from Steve Graham from the San Antonio River Authority, Nathan Riggs from the San Antonio Water System, and Jim Wintrell from the Edwards Aquifer Authority. Now, all 3 of them will be contributing content on how their systems that they have in place, that they've been working on for many years, plays a role in the Climate Action Adaptation Plan. So again, we just reiterate that there are so many things that are already happening to help our environment. So we're hoping that you'll come in, learn, and ask questions. This is a water-related session, and then we're going to move into a construction-related session and then a waste. So this is the first of many, many sessions that we're going to have. So again, thank you for joining us. If you like this session, please like and share the video. We hope that you'll share this with your friends and family in the community. This is about all of us getting together and working as one unit. And the other thing is, if you like the chamber and you like what we're working on, please make sure that you join our chamber. Look on our website at westsachamber.org. You can become a member very quickly and easily online, or you can join one of our events. We have many coming up. We've got a great golf tournament. We've got a great council session that's coming up. And there's a series of other different events that I think you'll be very interested in as business owners and community individuals. Thank you again for joining us for West San Antonio Chamber, our West SA pop-up, and we'll see you next time.